Dude, you can't even tell where my forehead ends and where my hair begins. According to people from last video, I look like One Punch Man, a Mexican gangster who's 12, and Britney Spears from 2007. Pretty accurate. Alright, today we're gonna talk about how to take proper pictures of your art, because I'm tired of looking at your blurry ass photos. Kinda how you're probably tired of looking at my bold ass head. But really, all these blurry photos taken with your flip phones need to stop. Hey, is that a Nokia with a flashlight? Yeah, that's gonna work perfectly for my art on Instagram. So I'm gonna show you how I take my pictures, I'm gonna show you how I edit them in Photoshop, and I'm even gonna show you how to post them on Instagram. Cause it's a whole philosophy, baby. This ain't no mirror selfie. You gotta know your angles. Too bad there's no angles when you're bold as hell. First of all, I know some artists scan their drawings, but really, what is this, the 1950s? Who uses fucking scanners? What are you gonna send a fax next? So I use a beginner level DSLR camera, and before you give me that shit, oh Angel, but I don't have enough money for a professional camera. Well, you're gonna die with 30 followers. What do you want me to tell you? But I'm gonna show you how to take photos with your tablet and maybe even your phone, even though mine is a Huawei, so I don't think it's really gonna work out. So the first and most important thing when it comes to taking a good picture is the lightning. You know, like lightning bolts and shit. And of course also having cute ass plants doesn't hurt as well. So I have this little lightning box that I bought off of eBay for like $30. And I know you don't have a lightning box and you have no interest in buying one right now. But listen, you gotta invest a little bit more into your drawing than just taking free pencils from IKEA. But if you don't have a lightning box, it'll also help to have a window beside you. Just make sure that you're not taking photos in the middle of your fucking room or some dark ass corner with no light. Dude, why does it look like I live in some fucking prison? And it would be best if the window is like a north one, and I'd probably sound like some fucking pirate or something, but the north side is gonna give you the most clear light possible. But whatever you do, just don't ever take photos under direct sunlight. I'm pretty sure that's one of the 7 deadly sins. It says it in the Bible. Thy drawings shall not be photographed under direct sunlight. Amen. Not my words. The problem with sunlight is that it reflects the graphite and it's so powerful that it makes the paper look like it's glowing and you get all your photographs blurry as fuck. So make sure that you always take photos under a shade directly next to a window, and don't ever use any yellow light because it makes everything yellow as fuck. By the way, my lamp looks like a cable sticking through the ceiling with a cheap ass light bulb, but that's just high fashion, you don't get it. So if you're using a light box or any other white light, make sure that it's far away from the drawing so it doesn't make any drop shadows or any harsh lighting at all. Now for the camera settings, I'm gonna be honest, I don't really know shit, so I just shoot in full auto. And maybe I should just spend some time learning how the camera works so I can get the most out of it, but we can't be good at everything. I'm already bold and I look like Britney Spears. I got other things to worry about. And shout out to one of my closest friends for at least telling me to shoot raw files. Cause I was so ignorant, I was like, raw? That sounds disgusting, like raw fish. I think I'm just gonna stick to shooting 1000 pixel JPEGs. So if you got a camera, make sure you put it into RAW plus L, which means you're taking a lot of L's. And I might be kindergarten level when it comes to the settings, but one thing I understand for sure are the lenses. I mean, I don't actually understand how they work or what they are, but I just know that you should be shooting a 50mm lens in order to get the most natural look. And you know, I kind of like that they're using millimeters. It makes it sound kind of large. I might use that in the future. Listen, baby, it's not 5 centimeters, okay? It's 50mm. So the standard lenses are 18 to 55, and when you're photographing your art, make sure you zoom in so you get it as close as possible to real life. Because the smaller the lens, the more you see of the drawing, but it starts looking like a fisheye lens and it's just warping the perspective. And by the way, it's the same with your tablet or phone, because people want to shoot mirror selfies in the toilet. The standard lens of your phone is a smaller one so you can capture more while standing closer. But here's the difference between between a 15mm lens and a 50mm lens that's actually a lot closer to what you're seeing in real life. So make sure that you're always zooming in and stepping back so you can get a more natural feel, because your art already looks bad enough without the problem with the lenses. When it comes to the actual picture, I like to put a pencil or some other artsy thing on the side just to make it look even more like a traditional piece rather than a digital one, and just to add scale. If you just take a picture of your drawing and there's just a white background, not only is it boring as fuck, but then you can't tell how big it is. So come up with a little composition. I recently started putting like little flowers and leaves and shit just to kind of add more of those Tumblr vibes. I'd even use some shit like the bookmark to make it feel like a sketchbook rather than just some random piece of paper. And make sure that you add some color paper or some nice texture background, because there's nothing worse than a nice drawing and on the back you just see somebody's jerk off desk. For the actual photo, make sure you press super lightly so the camera can focus, and take at least like 10 to 20 to even like 30 pictures. This shit is free, nobody's gonna charge you. And here's the DCLR compared to the tablet. As you can see, there's not much of a difference. So don't cry to me, oh, I don't have money. You can still use your phone. I mean, considering you have an iPhone, it costs half your house. Because otherwise, you're fucked. Alright, let's do some Photoshop editing magic now, trying to fix this shit. And you thought I was just posting these great pictures without any editing? Yeah, no. So the first thing I start with is I duplicate the layer, Control T for transform, and I rotate it so it's horizontal to the camera. Then the second thing I do is I get the lasso tool and I select the whole figure including the pencil. I copy paste it on a new layer and I move it up just so it makes a better composition and it looks more aesthetic on the page. And when you move something like this, it's really important to get a big airbrush and to really erase the edges just so it looks like it's actually there. Then the next thing I do is I go to image canvas size and I make it 3000 pixels by 3750 because that's the ratio for Instagram, and we all know we're just doing this for Instagram. And every time there's like little corners or anything you want to fix, all you have to do is you get the lasso tool, you select it, copy paste it on a new layer, you move it, and then you erase with the airbrush. Magic, bitch. We pull out the references, and by the way, the tool that I'm using for my floating references is called Quadro, and you can download it for free. There's gonna be a link in the description. We go to liquify to try to fix some of the proportions, Control Shift and X. And I got a lot of backlash for her waist, and I totally agree. Let me try to fix it now. Much better. And you know, instead of some backlash, how about some empathy? Because she's the one that's missing her organs. And you know what? You can help her out right now. If you donate to Angel's Ganev Patreon, all the donations are gonna go to drawing some organs for that poor little girl. Alright, her waist is kinda small and Nepkhaliev drew it better. What do you want from me? So the most important thing when it comes to using Liquify is to always be using the biggest brush possible so you can really move big forms rather than you using a smaller brush and doing weird shit like this. A great trick that I like to use is if you go to your stylus settings, you can set these buttons to different clicks, and I like to put this one, the top one, on right click. So if you go to Liquify, you press Alt and the button, boom, changing the brush size. So I just move some things around. I'm thinking about the perspective and how her torso is gonna move up, and then the pelvis is gonna move down, kind of widen the hips. Try to fix the horrible stomach, but not really working. So look at that, before and after, a little Liquify, just kind of thinking about the perspective. Thank God for that Photoshop. Then I try to move the whole torso up, again select it, copy paste, move up, and then soft brush. Something really useful would be to use the Liquify on those arm and checkers and really think about how those checkers are going to be wrapping around the body and really pay attention to the perspective. Then if you want to add something to the shading, you can use my brush highlights, which you can download for free from my website aganev.com/brushes. And it has a very similar texture to the pencil, so nobody's gonna really notice. Then I try to rotate the head, which is gonna be kind of tricky, but you have to select the whole thing, copy paste, Control T from transform, then rotate and just put it in place. It really feels like I'm not even an artist at this point, but just a plastic surgeon. And that's before and after all the liquefying and moving things around. And you might say I rely too much on Photoshop, and you're actually gonna be pretty right. So next I try to clean up all these little scratches. You select a white piece of paper, you put it on top, and then you mask it out with a mask. You get the highlight brush, you get the color white, and then boom, it's starting to clean shit up. And it's much better to work with a texture rather than just color picking the background, because then it will just look fake as hell. Not that it doesn't look fake right now though. Then from here you go to filter, camera raw filter, and it looks kind of confusing, but all you need to do is just boost the shadows a little bit, bring down the blacks, bring up the whites, just fuck around with the sliders and see what each one does. I usually like to make the temperature go a little bit more blue because all of the drawings are gonna look yellow, and it's a nice way to balance it out. Make it a little bit more purple, and you go to split toning. And here what I usually do is I make the shadows a little bit more orange, and then I make the highlights either blue or violet. But you have to be really subtle with this, because you just go like this, it'll be fake as hell. Just really subtly bring up the colors so it's not completely black and white and there's a little bit more contrast. Then I like to add a little bit of highlights. You create a new layer, put it on hard light mode, a bright cold color, and you just add a little bit of frame light. And you need to really be thinking about the form of the face and how the highlights are going to be wrapping around the form, not just some outlines. People think I draw with a white pencil and gray paper, and I just cracked Photoshop off of the internet. Please don't ban me for this. And again, when you're doing the checkers, think about the direction of the planes. Don't just go cross-hatching some random strokes. Think about where they're going to be facing. So these are the highlights, again, really subtly. You don't want anybody to catch you you're using Photoshop. Matter of fact, if somebody asks you, did you use Photoshop? What is even Photoshop? Finally, for the colors, I like to use selective color. You go down here to the circle, and I usually like to make the blacks a little bit more blue, the whites a little bit more blue, and then the neutrals a little bit more yellow. And it just brings this nice out balance in the paper. Then to bring out all the cool detail, there's a trick I use. You go to filter, other, high pass, 2.0. It looks horrible, but then you go to overlay, and boom. Look at that sharpen. So this is what we started with, this is what we have now. Photoshop, baby. Finally, for saving the file, really important, you copy the file, go to file, new, and then if you've ever posted a painting on Instagram and he had a different colors than the one you're seeing on a computer, this is the motherfucking reason. You want to go to color profile and put it in sRGBIEC61, yeah, whatever. I don't know what the fuck that means, but I just know it means better colors for Instagram. You paste your drawing and you make sure that you make the image file around 1000 pixels. Something that a lot of people don't understand is they think bigger resolution always means a better file, but actually if your resolution is way too big, the internet can process it and it actually looks blurrier. And also, there's nothing more I hate than somebody sending me their drawing for a critique and it's 5000 pixels wide and it takes 5 minutes to download. What the fuck do I need this for? What am I gonna print your shitty art on my wall? So keep all your drawings around 1000 pixels, then you go to filter, sharpen, smart sharpen around 20%, then filter, noise, add noise. I like to do like 3-4% just to bring out that grunge. Then for saving the file, you go to file, save as, and you always save it as a PNG. Who the fuck even uses JPEGs anymore? Definitely not me 3 months ago. And then if you want to post a zoomed version of your drawing on Instagram, you go to the higher resolution, you get the crop tool, shift and alt, and then you just zoom in. And again, you're looking for a good composition. I think a lot of artists don't realize that people like your drawing not only for the drawing itself, but also for the presentation. If you got a shitty presentation, you also got a shitty drawing. Alright, let me show you how to post it on Instagram now, because I get a lot of people asking me how to post it on Instagram but don't lose the quality. And listen, I fucking hate those people. Oh my god, Instagram ruined my quality. Thank you, Instagram. Yeah, well, we also build your whole goddamn audience for free, so how about you shut the fuck up? So really the secret is to edit your drawing inside of Instagram before posting it. And we're really getting into some basic white bitch territory, but whatever it takes to get some likes. The first thing I do is I add a filter. I usually go with Hudson. And listen, you gotta be gentle with this shit. Maximum of 10-15 points. I see a lot of people do it and their whole drawing looks blue as hell. Like, nobody should be able to tell you use this. Like silicone titties. Then you press this little button right here at the corner, you go to edit, and then you go to sharpen. This is really important because it kind of like kills all the blurriness, so at least like 40 to 50 points. Then you press this little sun over here. That will make like everything a lot more clear and bright. I usually do like 5-7 points. And then my favorite one of them all, structure. This is what I mean when I keep talking about all this structure shit. Fuck the planes to the head and learning all this fundamental shit. Look at that. Beautiful. And then if you're a good boy like me, this is where you tag who the reference belongs to. And see, I credit people sometimes. So anyway, I hope that shit was useful. Please use it so I don't see any more awful blurry photos. And this technique is actually what I use to shoot my merch photos. What merch is that, Angel? I'm glad you asked. I'm talking about my prints and my stickers on my website, ganev.com. I also have a special black paper sketchbook that I designed with my best friend and we manufactured it ourselves. Ooh! And buy something, alright? I don't have no goofy ass company taking all my money. It's just me working on this, alone, in my room, until I die. Actually, that took kind of a wrong turn. Anyway, thank you for watching. Check out the description and me and my bald head will talk to you next time, bitch.